Before deciding on a ranking for this list, I was of the opinion that 2015 was a disappointing year all round for film. As the months went by and I discovered several indie titles, my opinion has now changed for the better. 2015 saw the renaissance of horror and the year of powerful child actor performances, and it's worth mentioning that I have yet to see titles such as Creed, The Hateful Eight, The Revenant, and Room as they are scheduled to release in 2016 here in the UK. I could have done a top 20 list to save myself the time, but I'm a masochist and instead decided to cut it down to the traditional 10. Due to this, some of my favourites of the year have missed out. If you would like to see a lengthy ranking of 2015, I'll put a link to my letterboxd list in the description. As a side note, I'd just like to remind you guys that this is my personal list, and so there may be some omissions that raise eyebrows, like The Force Awakens. I'm just not a big Star Wars fan. Before we delve into the list, here are some of my honourable mentions. The Falling, Ex Machina, The Visit, Southpaw, Birdman, It Follows, and Cop Car. So without further ado, let's take a look at number 10. The Gift was a masterful thriller from first-time director Joel Edgerton. He created a tense and suspenseful atmosphere as though he had been directing for years. It's an uncomfortable watch at times, and that's no doubt down to Edgerton's acting. He's intrusive, creepy, and cunning all at the same time. And I have to give props to Jason Bateman too for really shaking off that image of Arrested Development and cheap comic relief. He was fantastic here as a deceptive man carrying a lot of secrets. And the twist at the end is unsettling. It leaves you feeling dirty and mucky. It's one of those suspenseful thrillers that stays with you long after the credits. If you've bullied someone in the past, do not watch The Gift. You will be frantically looking over your shoulder at every given moment and run away from anyone who even remotely approaches you. That's just a word of advice. Number 9, we have Inside Out, a film that did a terrific job of providing a strong social commentary on suppression of emotions to please others and how that can lead to mental breakdowns. Albeit done in a fun and entertaining way, it has a true deep message that should really be celebrated and talked about for years to come. It's ballsy for an animation company to release something so deep and complex, but Pixar does not underestimate the intelligence of children one bit. While there are moments specifically tailor-made for kids, they are not spoon-fed throughout this and are taught the important lesson that every emotion is healthy. Yes, that includes sadness. Every emotion is fleshed out and given a heartwarmingly funny personality that plays on the peak of its powers. Is it Pixar's best ever film? Not for me, but many will argue otherwise. At its worst, it's top 5, which is still an impeccable feat considering the powerhouse movies that Pixar have released since Toy Story 1 first hit the scene. And at number 8, Mad Max Fury Road. Okay, hear me out, I know this should be higher up, but on any given day, you could swap numbers 8 through to 5 and I probably wouldn't notice. As much as I was entertained by Mad Max, I respected it more than anything else. It's a breathtaking achievement from George Miller to have created this mostly practical effect behemoth at the age of 70. Charlize Theron gives one of the best performances of the year, totally transcending gender categories, and she steals the show from Tom Hardy too. She creates a brutally powerful yet emotionally flawed character. The cinematography, score and editing are gorgeous, and this will more than likely sweep at the Oscars. Mad Max injected life back into the soulless blockbuster and established itself as one of the greatest action films of the past few years, maybe even ever. Coming in at number 7, Straight Outta Compton. I want to start off by saying that F. Gary Gray's directing is flawless. The opening scene shows his ability to direct action, conflict and warlike terror, but we see other facets of his direction blossom as the film goes on. He can convey the beauty of Compton that people rarely acknowledge, or the vibrant nature of LA street culture. It's truly masterful work on his behalf. The soundtrack has to be spoken about, and in particular the way it's performed on stage. There's a genuine edge, attitude and passion to the way each line is delivered. To capture the essence of an outspoken freedom of speech type group is highly commendable, but to emulate it perfectly as the driving force behind gangster rap is mind-blowing. The cast delivers an ensemble performance that is titanic in quality, but Jason Mitchell as Eazy-E stole the show, quite simply one of the finest male performances of the year that will not get the recognition it deserves. Coming in at number 6, we have Justin Kurzel's Macbeth. Macbeth was absolutely great, epic, emotional, and captured all the venom behind Shakespeare's words. Fassbender was colossal and born to play the role. The script rolls off his tongue effortlessly and his facial acting is spine-chilling. Marion Cotillard was also mind-blowing, powerful yet so fragile. And this is without a doubt the best Shakespeare to film adaptation, and exceeds Branner's Hamlet, which was still excellent. The cinematography is jaw-dropping and gorgeous, encapsulating all of the vivid imagery that Shakespeare threaded into his masterful play. The final scene in particular is almost mystical, with the wind morphing into fire and dust. From the first minute you become lost in the world that Shakespeare created and Kurzel brings to life. Every bit of action in any scene feels all-inclusive, as though you two are in the battle scene. To do that while also sticking to poetic and Shakespearean script is a true testament to this film's qualities. Some may struggle with the dialogue, but Kurzel, Fassbender and Cotillard carry the audience with visual aids and powerful body language. Spring is a spellbinding horror romance that borrows beautifully from those two genres to create this unique picture. It's more than just love on a semi-unrequited level that makes this romance compelling. It's about finding love amongst imperfections, as monstrous as they may be. Finding beauty in the ugly is what Del Toro tends to say, and this idea of finding something beautiful amidst the grotesque is something hugely reminiscent of one of his films, and perhaps that's why I connected with this at a deeper level than others. The complexity of this film and how it strays from cliché genre conventions is its biggest selling point. Typically, the beast chases after the human to apologize for their imperfections. Here, it's flipped on its head. The beast, in this sense, wants to be alone and never once apologizes. The human does the acceptance and the chasing. Spring goes beyond just the romance. The monster design is gorgeous yet spine-chilling, and there's one jump in the film that achieves a multitude of things. It develops both Evan and Chloe on a simple character level as well as their relationship. The ending is open to interpretation, as the best horrors tend to be, but that does not mean that it leaves space for a sequel. Finality is implied quite heavily, but it's what happens before that finality that truly gives the audience something to ponder on after the credits. This is a film expertly crafted by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. I don't think enough people will ever watch this, but it's hard to name 20 horror films better than Spring, and I do mean that. Coming in at number 4, we have Dope. Not only is this film gut-bustingly hilarious, it's also a fine representation of teenagehood and lower-class society. This will easily become a cult classic. It has this overarching theme of meritocracy that truly struck a chord with me. Amidst the funny jokes and quirky music, this is a serious film which deals with classism in a very subtle manner. It's refreshing to see a film like this make waves. Shameik Moore shines bright as our protagonist, and his wacky friends help elevate this film a couple of notches. You really buy into the camaraderie, and the crude jokes are great. Just like straight Out of Compton, this really portrays the hoods in LA beautifully, and the directing is excellent from Rick Famuyiwa, who also pens a tightly knit script. I'll leave you with one of the more funnier moments in the film.
You got like one of them photogenic brains.
You mean photographic memory?
What'd I just say?
I mean, yeah, you said it. Yeah, just reiterating.
At number 3 we have Crimson Peak. As someone who reveres Del Toro's work, this was probably a predictable choice, but I feel as though my admiration of his films helps me understand them better than the average person. Crimson Peak may not be held in high regard by the majority, but it most definitely should. This is Del Toro's best English language film, trumping both Hellboys, Blade 2, Mimic and Pacific Rim, and trust me, I love those films. Crimson Peak captures ghosts effortlessly. There isn't a director alive or dead who perfects the ghost tale like Del Toro. Every single time it's a refreshingly new spin on the subgenre. I was reminded of Akira Kurosawa's Kagemusha when watching this film, due to Del Toro's masterful grasp on the use of colour. It was mesmerising and adds to his directorial palette. The final 15 minutes contribute to perhaps the best ending to any film in 2015. To say it's breathtaking would be an understatement, and to even troll a thesaurus for a stronger word would be underselling this final act. Jessica Chastain is otherworldly in the sequence of events. I love the tone, story, colour and characters beyond imagination, and I cannot wait to revisit it a couple more times in the future. Wild Tales was the perfect anthology film, mixing satire and black comedy with compelling drama. The 6 stories never once falter, and you find yourself not wanting them to end. Every performance is strong, particularly that of Richard Darien in the Bombita story. I haven't laughed as hard in the theatre as I did with Wild Tales. By the time the euphoric final story comes in, my throat was dry and in pain from the previous shenanigans. This is what happens if Quentin Tarantino lent his finesse for writing revenge stories to an Argentinian man who happened to borrow humour from the Coen brothers. And at number 1, the moment you've all been waiting for, is Whiplash. I have never felt so tense in the theatre. When that drum solo final scene kicks in, I felt like I was holding my breath for 20 minutes straight. This is already one of my favourite films ever. I've revisited it numerous times and it never fails to give me goosebumps. J.K. Simmons is banal and batshit crazy as Fletcher, which turns this film from a drab melancholic TV drama to a compelling picture. If I had it my way, this would have won for Best Picture at the most recent Academy Awards. Every scene is riveting, and the writing grows and develops characters of every passing minute. To make a film about a boy wanting to succeed as a drummer this compelling is something else. Even talking about it now, I can't believe that it works. And that soundtrack, that fucking soundtrack, so beautiful. It made me for a while troll YouTube and Spotify for Draz music. I wanted to love the genre just because of how immense this movie was. Talk about transcendent.